Welcome to Pope's Plates, or welcome back if you're a frequent viewer. We're going to do picnic prep today. We've got 3 recipes that we really enjoy for sandwich fixings. We do pimento cheese, and I made some for a family one time, and they said, "Where in the world did you get this? This is so good. What is in it?" And I said, "Well, cheese and mayonnaise and some salt and pepper. That's about it." But they thought it was wonderful. The next one we're going to do is a variation on egg salad, egg and olive, and egg and pickle relish. And we have a trick to share with you about how to get your eggs boiled and shelled properly. Then the third one is going to be a ham mixture, and Jennifer's going to come in and do that one for you. But first, I want to show you this trick with the eggs. Jennifer learned this. She didn't believe it. She told me I didn't believe it until we tried it. You will tap the fat end of the egg with the back of a spoon. You don't want to slam it into it. You want to tap it gently so that the membrane pops inside the egg. Did you hear that one? I'm going to do that with each of 10 eggs. There it was again. It's fascinating to me that they pop like that. Did you hear that one? I'll finish these and we'll be back with you in just a minute. While our eggs are boiling, I'm going to make the pimento cheese. I've got a package of sharp cheddar and a package of mild cheddar. Now, I do something a little bit different. I put the cheese into a food processor with the blade to cut it up. Ideally, we've talked about this with you before. Ideally, you would not use shredded cheese. There is a coating on this that prevents it from molding and whatever very quickly. And consequently, it doesn't always react the same way that a block of cheese that you just grate will do. But that being said, it's easier to use the packaged cheese. I'm also going to add mayonnaise. And I just kind of eyeball this. I would say it's, for the 2 packages, it's going to be maybe a cup of mayonnaise. But we're going to try this and see what it looks like. And this makes a lot of brackets, so I'm not going to talk while it's going. I'm going to pulse it some and get it mixed up. And we'll see what the consistency. And here I am talking while I told you I was not going to. Now the consistency looks pretty good, but I think it's going to take a little bit more mayonnaise. You don't want to add too much because that can make it kind of soupy, and you don't want that. Let me try this again. That's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to leave that as is, and I'm going to drain 1 jar of pimentos. And we'll see after I put this one in whether or not we may want to add some of the other one. You don't want this to be ground up to the point where it's mushy. I'm also going to add just a touch of dry mustard. Half a teaspoon, close to it. That just gives a little bit of bite to it, but not much. And we're going to add some salt and pepper. I'm going to have to reach behind me to get that. I'd say a healthy pinch of pepper. and a healthy pinch of salt. Now keep in mind that the cheese and the mayonnaise both have some salt in them. So let's mix this up a little bit and see where we are. Okay, I'm going to step around here on the dog's dish, see what this looks like. Well, I think this looks pretty good. I don't think I need to open the other jar of pimento. I will take this out and put it in a bowl, and then we'll try it again and just make absolutely certain that it still is the right consistency and that the pimento is spread throughout the whole cheese mixture. I'm going to clean up this a little bit, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm going to get this out into a bowl. Let's just make sure that it's got the pimentos all the way through it. Oh, it looks wonderful. And it looks like there's plenty of pimento in here. Now I've got to get the blade out of here and scrape this off. That's the difficult part of using a food processor. Getting the blade out and not cutting yourself up and making sure that you've got everything off that you need to get off. Now that's good enough. That's good. All right. I don't know whether you can see this well, but look at how smooth the consistency is. And you can see the flecks of the red pimento, a fleck or two of the black pepper. It really looks pretty and it tastes wonderful. I'm going to cut our bread and we're going to make a sandwich or two to put on our plate. Okay, this is fresh baked bread. Now, what you get from the grocery store has already been sliced, and they have those wonderful machines that shake and shake and shake and shake and cuts the bread beautifully. What we have is a serrated bread knife and hope that we can cut the slice of bread so that it makes a really nice sandwich slice. And from what I remember, you let the blade do the work. You don't press down too hard. You start it and you let the blade work back and forth. And I don't know how well that's doing. It looks like bread on the other side seems to be breaking apart, but I don't know. Well, what do you think? That's not bad. I'm sure it's going to taste wonderful. So I'm going to set that slice aside, and I'm going to start another slice. Oh, and the fatter the bread in the center, sometimes the harder it is to get that knife to slide through. But there we go. That's not a bad effort. So we've got two nice slices of bread. I'm going to take some of the pimento cheese and spread it on our bread. Getting it all the way up to the edges of the crust. Okay. Now our second slice of bread goes on the top. My mom always cut my sandwiches on the diagonal. Some children much prefer that they be cut square, but we're going to do diagonal because that's what my mom did. Look at that. That looks pretty. Ooh, I'm going to have that little bit of bread. That looks beautiful, and I think it's going to be very, very pretty on our blue and white plate. So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll go on with our eggs as soon as they're done.
I am going to be making our ham salad, or ham salad for the sandwich. This is actually not the most popular way that I do it for my household. It may be popular for you. About 25 years ago, my mom and brother came, before they lived, my mom lived in this city. They came here for Thanksgiving, and we had plenty of honey baked ham left over. And I was tired of ham sandwiches. And so I ended up making this mixture and putting it inside of biscuits. So I broke the biscuits open, spread them out, stuffed them, and pinched the edges. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So during the winter, that's kind of the use I like to have. But I am going to cut 2 ham steaks. And it doesn't have to be really tiny. I'm going to cut them into cubes. I'm going to put these in the food processor. I am not sure that I'm going to need both of these, or all of both of these. Let's see what we come up with. And I'm going to try to get this video up this week because today is actually Easter Sunday. And I'm hoping that you might have some leftover ham left from today. That was redundant, leftover ham left. And you'll find this recipe useful. So I'm actually going to set aside a tiny bit of this ham because I don't need all of it. This is completely optional, but I like, because this is in the food processor and it blends so much, I like to put a little bit of raw onion in there. Frequent watchers of the channel know that I love onion. And then I'm going to put some mayonnaise. I'm going to just eyeball this. There's cheese in the mayonnaise from the pimento cheese. So basically right now, I'm just putting in mayonnaise to help it sort of blend up. So I'm guessing at this point, I've put in half a cup, is my guess. So I'm going to put the top on and blend this up. I always have such a hard time with this. That is blending beautifully. I just need to brush some of the larger pieces down off the side. And our goal is to have this kind of pasty, like not pale, but the consistency. So I actually think we have enough mayonnaise in here right now, but let me add the other ingredients and we will find out. I'm going to get the salt and pepper. Hold on just a second. I'm going to put a pinch of salt. And again, ham is very salty. So I'm not going to put in too much. I'm going to put just a pinch of dry mustard. And I'm going to say 1.5 to 1.5 tablespoons of stone ground mustard. And we have the spicy kind, which I love. And I'm going to blend that before I add my cheese. It looks like deviled ham. I love deviled ham. I know it gets a bad rap, but I really like it. Now, you can just use this the way it is now, but I like to put a little bit of cheese in it. Again, we're using the cheese that's coated in cellulose. This is 2 cups, and I'm going to use about half a cup. Now, one of the reasons that I really like to put cheese in this is that you can make this ham salad kind of pasty thing and toast it. And it's really neat because the cheese pull is great when it melts. Let's mix this up. Got a couple of pieces of cheese on the side. We don't want to give up. This is a great consistency. I'll show it to you. Ooh, the onion smells good. All right, excellent. I'm going to take our ham salad, ham spread, I don't know what I call it, and put it in our bowl. I'm going to see if I can take this out first. Now, you saw Mom cutting some white sandwich bread earlier. We also have some flaxseed and chia seed bread. I've started baking. It took me 3 times for the chia seed bread not to crash, and it's still kind of thin, but it's got a little bit of a sweet flavor because there's a tiny bit of honey in it, so I thought that would go well with the ham. So let me move the food processor and make the sandwich and show you what it looks like. So I have our ham spread here. Again, it's the exact consistency of deviled ham. I'm going to spread it out on our flaxseed chia seed bread. It is not the sturdiest of bread. If you have any recommendations for a fairly new baker to make whole wheat or any kind of seeded bread in the bread machine without it collapsing, I will gladly take that advice. Okay, so we're going to give this a cut on the diagonal because my mother's mother cut it on a diagonal. My mother also cut it on a diagonal. We're going to add this to our sandwiches for 4th of July or Memorial Day or just the beginning of warm weather picnic.
All right, we're back. Our eggs are done and we are peeling them. I want you to look. I'm just taking the peel right off the egg. It's all coming off easily. The membrane was broken. You still have to be a little careful, but you don't have great big divots coming out of your eggs when you do it this way. Okay, I'm going to rinse it off. You see how nice it looks. I'll put that in our bowl. I do plenty of cracking to get it going. And then just picking up edges of it and peeling it off very, very smoothly to give you a smooth egg. For us, this is not that important because we're going to be mushing them up anyway. But if you're making deviled eggs, you definitely want your eggs to be smooth and look pretty. I'm going to finish doing these off camera and we'll be back when they're all ready for me to work on. All right, eggs are all peeled. Part of the base of my egg salad, and this recipe was not mine originally. This came from a really dear friend that I met about 20 years ago when I moved up here to Middle Tennessee. She uses cream cheese as the base for her egg salad. All right, I'm going to put this entire brick of cream cheese in the bowl. We've got 10 eggs, and I think it's going to take the entire brick to make this. One of the things we are going to split and make part of this egg with olives, chopped olives, and part egg with pickle relish. If you eat deviled eggs, normally they have pickle relish in it. My mother made egg and olive sandwiches for us all the time. So I was accustomed to that more so than pickle relish in mine, so I'm going to do that. We're going to cut these you want them relatively small because we're going to blend all of this in, the whites and the yellow, into the cream cheese.
Okay, so I've never been here when she's made that. I cut them in half, put them in the bowl in half, and use the side of the fork to break them up.
Huh. Well, you can do it both ways.
Yeah, I was like, that's actually probably more effective. I was just like, I have never done that.
We enjoy egg salad a lot. It's a great thing for a picnic. It's a great thing. Well, I will say this, though. If you're taking on a picnic, what I suggest when you have things that have mayonnaise in them, and all of these do, pimento cheese and the ham and this, that you have bowls that you can sit in ice so that it keeps cool, so that there's no spoilage on the mayonnaise that's in there, because that can be dangerous and really make you sick. And you don't want that. And picnics tend to be in warmer weather when you're outside, so just be alert to making sure that you have a way to keep your salad cool. I'm going to finish chopping these eggs up, and we'll be back with you in just a second when we're ready to mix it all together. Okay, I've got the cream cheese and the eggs in a bowl here. Might need a bigger bowl. There's a lot of eggs in here. You're going to have to work this a good bit. The cream cheese was softened. It had been sitting out all night. But you still have to break it up and break the eggs up into it. I'm going to work a little bit more on this before I add the mayonnaise. I'm going to add a bit of salt and pepper. Let's see here. And I put some dry mustard. I'll taste this again before we finish it all up. I'm trying to make sure that I get down to the bottom where all that cream cheese was sitting and get it worked up to the top so that it's really well mixed in. That looks pretty good. I'm going to add the mayonnaise now. Now we've pretty much made a dent in this mayonnaise today. All right, I'm going to work this in and see whether or not we're okay. You're going to have to work around the sides of the bowl too to get all of the pieces, cheese, whites and the yellows. Now you can see, I think maybe that we've got a very pale yellow consistency at this point. So the yolks of the eggs, which are cooked, are that pale yellow color. They look like they have worked in well, and I think that's enough mayonnaise. I'm not going to put any more in there. I'm going to take about half of this and put it into another bowl, and we're going to add chopped olives to one part and our pickle relish to the other. I'll do the pickle relish first. Need another spoon here. I'd say maybe 2 heaping teaspoons. First, let's see how this looks. Yeah, I don't think we need any more than that. And let's get the olives. And I bought olives that had already been chopped. This little gizmo helps for those of us who have arthritic hands. It pops the vacuum on the jar so that you can get the jar off, the top off easily. Well, I made a mess with that. Okay. I do think we're going to want to cut these up a little bit more. Just popping them with the knife. This has olives and pimentos, so I'm going to make a pretty color for these eggs. All right, let me mix these in and let's see if we need to add more. I'm going to add just a hair more over there.
You know what I do for that kind is I add less mayonnaise and I add about a tablespoon of olive juice.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
I love olives.
Well, this looks like it has a good consistency as well, with enough of the olives mixed in. You can definitely see those. It's a pretty color. And the pimento and the olives are mixed in well together. So I think we'll call this one done too. And we're going to make our sandwiches. I'm going to add the egg and olive mixture to the white sandwich bread. And again, we want to get it up to the top of the crust so that you've got a bite of egg salad with every bite of sandwich. Okay. And our diagonal cut gets that ready. And we are going to do a half of a sandwich of the egg and olive on the chia bread. I mean the egg and what do you call that stuff? Pickle relish. We've got a blue and white picnicky looking plate. And another one there. Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision here in order to make this sort of look right. We're going to leave this one in its big pieces. We've got one more small because we're going to share just a touch of this sandwich with Charlie Brown. Charlie loves to be included. So we have a piece of bread for Charlie. Have that? How about that? That's pretty good, what? Okay. We appreciate your joining us today. Jennifer and I now have got sandwich makings for a long time. If you enjoy these recipes, we invite you to make a comment in the box below. And we invite you to subscribe to our channel and come visit us again. Until we see you next time, let's keep cooking.